Welcome to What is a Brand, the podcast where I endeavor to bust the myth that branding is just a logo, some fonts, and a color palette. Because, spoiler alert, it's so much bigger than that. Because a brand isn't just what you see, it's what you feel. It's how you show up and the experience you create. Whether you're a business owner, a designer, or just brand curious, this podcast will help you think bigger, get clearer, and build a brand that works for you. Let's dive in and start answering that huge question. What is a brand? Hello there, friends. I am back to talk about the answer to the big question. What is a brand? Because who even knows? I know what it is, and I'm going to help you figure it out too. So my favorite way to describe this, my new favorite way to describe what is a brand, is if you think about two big companies that, as an American, you probably know, Walmart and Target. These are two huge brands that exist in the world. Everyone knows them. And if you pull it down to the very bare minimum, just the most concentrated essence of what each of them does. I bet right now, when I said Walmart and when I said Target, you felt different feelings. But essentially, they do the exact same thing. Walmart sells things to people in retail and e-commerce setting. Target sells things to people in a retail and e-commerce setting. Same business, same stuff. Physically the same stuff. They're selling the same stuff. And yet, we feel very differently about them. Target, for years now, has been the go-to place for moms of young children to not lose their sanity. Moms of young children find Target so comforting that they will bring their children. It's like daycare. You get to cart your kids around the store. They can go run, they can play, they're not going to break anything, they're not going to get into trouble. You can get your Starbucks. You can get that's the big thing, the Starbucks cake pops. I've even seen moms figuring out hacks for how to get more affordable cake pops from Target instead of getting the ones when they're getting their Starbucks. And then they just go around the store. You can spend hours in Target. When you walk into Target, it's bright. It's bright, but not in an uncomfortable way, not in a glaring way. There's a lot of white space. You can breathe the air. It feels cleaner. I don't know if it's actually cleaner. No one voluntarily spends 3 hours in a Walmart. It's just not the same. You don't do it. You don't take fun trips to Walmart to entertain the kids. Like, yeah, it's functional. I've done that before where I take my kid to Walmart and she just runs around. But I'm still pretty happy to go when I've picked up all the stuff that I need. I'm there for a purpose. You go to Walmart to get things at Walmart and then to leave. Target is an experience. And yet, these businesses, these brands do essentially the same exact thing. The ways in which they have decided to do them differently is branding. That's the answer to the question. Now, the more complicated part of that is how do they do that? How did Target make this choice? How did they get to this place? How did it come down to people wanting to spend one time in one store and not in the other store when essentially they do the exact same thing and they sell the same product, and Target's more expensive? You're going to walk around Target for 3 hours and you're going to put things in your cart and you're going to have half as many things in your cart and you're still going to spend more. You're going to go into Walmart and you're going to get the things that you need, probably a couple extra things, because we all get extra things when we go to Walmart. But you're still going to spend less than you would have at Target. You could get a whole cart's worth for what you could spend on 3 items at Target. And yet we prefer spending time at Target. If you had to choose, even if Walmart was closer, you might go out of your way an extra 5 minutes because you prefer the Target. Branding. Branding is why, and I'm not talking about the logos. You could swap the logos, wouldn't make a lick of difference, wouldn't make any difference at all. Yeah, the Target logo is clever. Yeah, the Walmart logo is iconic. It doesn't matter. Swap them and it would still feel the same inside. The choices that were made. Walmarts have Subways, which is known for being cheap. Targets have Starbuckses, which are known for being expensive and nice. It's a treat. They just, right from the moment you get into the entrance, the smell of Starbucks or of Subway is going to have me thinking, oh man, $5 footlong would be nice. Great. So I spend $5. Smelling the coffee. I don't even drink coffee, and I like the way the coffee smells at Starbucks. And I know it's expensive. But right off the bat, you've established an olfactory thing going on. Because at the heart of every brand, it's about human beings. Brands wouldn't exist if it weren't for human beings. Human beings are emotional. We are driven by our emotions. We're driven by our senses. We're driven by our urges. We're driven by our feelings. Think about big businesses like Walmart and Target, but there's lots of them to choose from. When it comes to branding and company decisions like where to put things and how to lay out the store and how do you want it to feel and do we pick Subway or do we pick Starbucks? They're human beings in that room making those decisions to affect the emotions of other human beings. Everything about branding is human. If we were not human beings with beating hearts that feel things, none of this would matter. You would look on paper and you would say, this makes no sense for me to go an extra 5 minutes out of my way to get the same exact thing at Target. Doesn't make sense. But because we are emotional and we are driven by our senses and our feelings and our reactions and our experiences, we make these choices. So it's important. It's important to know what kind of experience you are creating with your brand. And that leads me to the next point, which is we're kind of getting the sense of what all this means for big businesses. But what about smaller businesses? What about maybe your business? Maybe you don't have a team of executives or a marketing department to help you make these decisions. Maybe you don't have millions of dollars to spend on an agency to tell you these exact same things, but how they apply to your business and your brand. But that's okay. It's okay if it's just you. It's okay if you have a small team. It's okay no matter what size you are. Because at the end of the day, all that matters is that you are human and that your clients and your target market are humans. Even if you're a dog groomer, the dog's not bringing out their credit card. The human is. So, focus on the humanity inside of your business. Focus on the humanity that exists in the connection between you and your customers. Focus on yourself, what matters to you, what lights you up, what turns you on so that you can show up as your best self in your brand. What is the one thing that you could possibly get excited about doing a speaking engagement on? Because I was so dead set that I would never get on camera. I thought that I would never do public speaking. I thought that was part of who I was. Newsflash, I love it. I've started a podcast. I do speaking engagements. I guest on other people's podcasts. I show up on social media. All things that I told myself I could never do. And I could never do until I figured out what it was that I lit up speaking about. Build your brand around the things that have the greatest effect on you. Build your brand around the things that stir up emotion in you so that when someone is witnessing your brand from the outside, they feel your emotion. Are you choosing Starbucks or are you choosing Subway? Are you choosing cheerful, colorful, crazy, creative? Or are you choosing straightforward business, get the essentials done, ease of use? I am all things bright and color and rainbows and emotions. And if you don't want to talk about your feelings, that's okay. There are lots of other people who do what I do, more or less, who can get you something without the conversation. My work is more valuable because of the conversation, because of the connection, because of the way that I embody other people's businesses. So what do you accomplish? Like I said before, Walmart and Target essentially do the same thing. Who is out there in the world doing essentially the same thing as you with a completely different brand? Take a look. See who's out there. There's probably somebody. And then notice what they do that you don't want to do, or you don't like, or doesn't align with what feels good inside of you. Because there's only one you. That's the real beauty of being a small business owner, mid-sized business owner, is that it's not complicated. It's not complicated. Walmarts and Targets and things, the bigger businesses, they have to do huge studies to figure out what emotional effect will this have. My guess is you probably already know. How do you show up in things? What is your personality? Are you kind? Are you friendly? Are you loving? Do you do cute things like sign your emails with XO? I have a client that does that, and it's absolutely adorable, and it is so uniquely her. I have another client who doesn't have, and she's got her own sense of warmth, but she's not gonna write XO. That's not her personality. If she did, it would be weird, but it's not weird on the other person. So what's your personality? How does your brand affect the emotions of other people? How do you reach out? How do the things that feel important to you get conveyed to the people you want to work with and who need your help? It sounds complicated, but I promise it's not. And I am here. I am so here to help you with this. It is not easy to do it on your own, and you don't have to. That's the other thing, is these big businesses, they have teams of people. They have the agencies. They have all the resources. Maybe you don't. But you have me. And I will move heaven and earth to make sure that you can see how amazing you are, so that the rest of the world can see it too. So that's it for me today. I hope you know a little bit more about what a brand is and about what that means to you. Until next time, I am proud of you and I love you.